A lot of artists who are thinking of selling their art, they worry a lot about which art supplies to buy. I am one of them. Like, I will go into maximum research mode, going into, okay, which pigments are light fast, which are not, and which are professional grade, which are archival, and like all of these things that we think about with respect to buying art supplies, uh, with the hope that it will last for a very long time. And to artists who worry about that and who are kind of letting that get in the way of their creative process, what do you have to say about it? Because I feel like this discussion is so important, that this hyper focus on creating with professional art supplies, so to say, and even when it comes to selling, and we have talked about this earlier at some point, that when we are selling, we will raise the price if it's made with archival quality supplies. And if it's not, why is it not as valuable? Why does that art piece need to last hundreds of years? Like, somebody gets to enjoy it for their lifetime. Why is that not enough? So, what are your thoughts on somewhat of an obsession that professional artists have with archival art supplies in the context of our impermanence as humans?
Yeah, I agree. This is really important. I think that this can become a really huge hindrance to creation for many reasons. We are all impermanent. Everything is impermanent. Everything is going to change. And embracing that part of the artwork too can be a really beautiful practice. So, actually, a lot of the art that I created that I love the most was not created on archival things with expensive materials. And it has, if you look at the color of the paper, it's a little bit more yellowed now than it was before. But I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's actually kind of like it shows that it's aged, it has character. I was living in a really humid place with no access to air conditioning or anything like that. So the art pieces were not very protected for some time, some of them. And that's really okay. I also would not decrease the price just because it's not on the fancy material, but I might mention in the listing that it's not made with archival materials, just so I don't have a customer who's upset about that. I think it's good to care about what you're creating with, of course, but it's also good to make sure that that's not preventing you from creating, and knowing that it's okay if things change. I wanted to throw in a little quick story about something that recently happened. Our friend has a restaurant in town here in Nepal, and he has two of my art pieces up in his restaurant, like framed. And I love those art pieces so much. They really make me happy to see them in there. A lot of people, I think, have had joy from seeing those. And recently there was a big storm and kind of a flood. And the next day we went to the restaurant and I saw that one of those mandalas had, like, inside the frame, like the frame had kind of collapsed in a little bit, letting water and black soot go into the frame. And so now the mandala has like all this black stuff in front of it, like sludge. It's all messed up. And I saw that and I was just laughing kind of. And I think they were really scared for me to see that and be like heartbroken. But I was laughing and it was like, everything changes. Human bodies change, places change, things change. And I just thought, that's all right. The flood took that one. And I felt like part of the process of being an artist is reducing that attachment to your creations and realizing it's going to change. Like, one clay piece I worked on really hard. I loved it so much. It came out of the kiln with a huge crack down the whole thing. And it was like, and my artist friend, he was like, okay, we just have to put glaze in it and it'll seal the crack. It made the crack worse. And that was a really helpful lesson for me in being like, nope, I don't have control over anything here. I can just put my love into it and not attach to the outcome. And for that art piece in my friend's restaurant, I I can practice love and non-attachment for that too. The other one's still fine, but who knows in the next storm. But yeah, I think it's a wonderful thing to remember. Our bodies are going to change, but we should continue loving them. Our art pieces are going to change, but we should continue loving them. Impermanence makes things beautiful, and just because your painting won't be perfect for 300 years does not mean that it's not wonderful. You know,
Yeah.
it's really important to realize that, I think.